Welcome back to the next lesson in Module 3. In this lesson, we're just going to look at traditional jobs and compare them to modern jobs in demand. Now, when fashion started, like I said in the previous lesson, the bulk of the jobs available were the jobs of tailors, who are now also known as sewing machine operators. Your job was to literally sit on a machine and join different pieces of a design together. Now, some of them were also called seamstress, dressmakers, but dressmakers and seamstress had a lot more skill as compared to the sewing machine operators, tailors. Tailors are very much different from dressmakers, right? Tailors literally just brought together pieces of a part of a garment and joined them together. Let's talk about traditional jobs that were very prevalent in Nigerian space, right? Number one, tailors. Tailors either owned a business or worked for someone, right? Aside from tailors, who were popularly called joinmen or dressmakers or seamstresses, you had other people in the fashion space. Now, the thing about these other people is that they were not really considered fashion professionals, because at that time, fashion was largely considered as a vocational thing. So many of these people were artisans. Now we have Aso-Oke weavers, individuals in the interiors, in the interlands, in the remote towns and villages, who were particularly skilled at weaving Aso-Oke. The Igbos had theirs called the Akwete. The Yorubas also had theirs called the Aso-Oke. Aside from these guys, you also had those who were particularly skilled at the indigo dyeing, the tie and dye. One of the towns in Nigeria, Abeokuta, is renowned for the tie and dye textiles. The Adire has literally taken the world by storm today. We have different variations of Adire tie and dye. It has even exceeded the usual use of cotton and tailoring, which is the calico fabrics, to using a blend of chiffon cottons, silk cottons. And today, we're looking at the future of a new textile revolution in Nigeria. Now, traditionally also, we had those who did a lot of embroidery. The Awusas were particularly known for doing the handmade embroideries on the traditional garments for men, known as the kaftan. There are different kinds of kaftans. Now, embroidery has different techniques and different patterns. Now, these Northerners are known to be extremely good at drafting or creating unique patterns on garments. However, today, we have a lot of individuals across tribes who can also do these embroideries. Now we've talked about the prevailing traditional jobs you would have found in the fashion industry in the early 90s and the late 90s. Let us talk about the modern jobs that are now in demand in the fashion industry. The first is fashion designer. Who is a fashion designer? You don't know who a fashion designer is. Someone who can literally curate an entire piece and possibly manufacture it in terms of sew from start to finish, or not. However, there are other jobs in demand today, and I'm going to be running through many of these jobs, and possibly you'll be guided by the pictures that will be on the screen. A few of the jobs in demand today are pattern makers, technical designers, creative directors, production manager, business manager, procurement officer, facility manager, 3D illustrators or 3D designers, stylists, content creator, brand manager, brand strategists, quality assurance personnel, sales reps, and many more. It's important to know that the fashion industry demand for skills is obviously transitioning from what we knew it to be, which were all the names and the roles I described in the traditional jobs. And now we're very much looking at businesses seeking these in-demand skills as mentioned earlier. How do you find the skill sets you have? I'm sure in the next module we're going to talk about it. But right before we go into the next module, let us look at the next lesson where we talk about the future of fashion jobs in Nigeria and Africa.